I had 7 days. 7 days before my rent was due. 7 days before my savings ran out. And 7 days before I had no idea what would happen to my life. I was sitting in my boss's office when he looked at me and said, "Daniel, your position is no longer needed." For a moment, I thought I had misunderstood him. I had worked there for 5 years. I arrived early. I worked hard. I followed the rules. Yet none of it mattered. The company was reducing staff, and I was one of the people leaving. An hour later, I walked out carrying a small cardboard box. The city looked exactly the same. People were laughing, cars were moving, life continued, but mine felt frozen. When I got home, I checked my bank account. The number on the screen made my stomach tighten. I had enough money for 1 week, maybe 2 if I was very careful, but rent was due in 7 days, and I didn't have enough. That night, I barely slept. The next morning, I started applying for jobs. I sent application after application. By evening, I had applied almost everywhere. Then I checked my email. Nothing. No interviews, no replies, only silence. And 6 days left. The following day was no better. By afternoon, I couldn't stay inside my apartment anymore, so I left and started walking. Eventually, I found myself in a small park. I sat on an old wooden bench and stared at the ground. A few minutes later, an elderly man sat beside me. He wore a worn brown jacket and carried a small notebook. After a moment, he asked, "Bad day?" I laughed softly. "Bad week." He nodded. "Those are harder." For some reason, I told him everything. I told him about losing my job, about the rent, about the fear. When I finished, he said, "And now you're trying to figure out what comes next." I looked at him. "How did you know?" He smiled. "Because everyone who sits on this bench is trying to figure out what comes next." Then I admitted the truth. I have 6 days to pay rent. "That's why you're scared." "I'm terrified." The old man closed his notebook. "Good." I frowned. "There is nothing good about this." "No," he said. "There isn't." Then he added something I never forgot. Most people spend their lives waiting. Waiting for what? Waiting until they feel ready. His words hit me hard because they were true. For years, I had postponed things, ideas, opportunities, dreams. I always thought I would start later, when life felt safer, when the timing was perfect. But perfect timing never came. Before leaving, the old man looked at me and said, "You don't need a new life, Daniel." I froze. I had never told him my name. Before I could ask how he knew it, he continued, "You only need the courage to take the next step." Then he walked away. That night, I stopped asking myself, what if everything goes wrong? Instead, I asked, what can I do tomorrow? The next morning, I made a list of skills I already had. I could organize schedules, answer customer emails, manage information, communicate professionally. Then an idea appeared. Instead of waiting for someone to hire me, what if I offered a service? The idea scared me. but I wrote a simple online post offering administrative support for small businesses. Then I clicked publish. For 2 days, nothing happened. Then I received a message from a woman named Karen. She owned a small online candle business. She needed help managing customer messages.
We spoke for an hour. Then she hired me for a short trial. For the first time in days, I felt hope. The first few days went well. Karen even sent me a message saying, "This is already helping a lot." Then everything changed. One morning, Karen called and said, "We have a problem." One of her largest customer orders had disappeared. After checking the records, I discovered the truth. I had accidentally canceled it. One click, one mistake, and suddenly my first opportunity was falling apart. Karen asked, "Can you fix this?" I wasn't sure, but I said, "I'll do everything I can."
For hours, I worked non-stop. Emails, phone calls, apologies, solutions. Finally, the customer replied, "Thank you for fixing the issue. Mistakes happen." The crisis was over. A few days later, Karen called again. "You made a mistake," she said. My heart sank. Then she continued, "But you stayed and fixed it." A few minutes later, she told me something unexpected. She had recommended me to another business owner named Mark. We scheduled a video call. I prepared carefully. But during the interview, I stumbled. I hesitated. I made mistakes. When the call ended, I was sure I had failed. Then a message arrived. "I'd like to work with you on a trial basis." At the end, Mark wrote, "You didn't know every answer, but you were honest. I trust that." Over the next few days, I worked harder than ever. I helped Karen, I helped Mark, I learned, I improved. And finally, rent day arrived. I sat at my kitchen table and added every payment. Karen's, Mark's, several smaller jobs. Then I checked the final number. The money was enough. Not a fortune, not financial freedom. Just enough to pay the rent. A week earlier, I had walked out of an office carrying a cardboard box, certain my life was falling apart. Now I understood something. Maybe losing my job wasn't the end. Maybe it was the push I needed. Later that day, I returned to the park. I found the same bench, but the old man wasn't there. I wanted to thank him. Instead, I sat quietly and thought about his words. The next step isn't about certainty. It isn't about knowing the future. It's about moving forward anyway, even when you're scared, even when you're unsure, even when there are no guarantees. As I sat there, my phone vibrated. Another potential client, another opportunity. I smiled, not because I knew what would happen next, but because I no longer needed to know. For the first time in a very long time, I wasn't afraid of the road ahead.